Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tiffany Callender, and I'm the CEO of the Federation of African Canadian Economics, and I'm joined by my colleagues from various programs from various parts of the country. Black entrepreneurship is an immense and important, but not only just for me personally, but for also for Canada's future. When the federal government launched the Black Entrepreneurship Program in 2020, it was more than just a policy decision. It was an acknowledgement of systemic barriers Black entrepreneurs face every day. For too long, Black communities in Canada have lacked equitable access to capital, business networks, and the resources needed to thrive. The BEP and its companion programs, like the Supporting Black Canadian Communities Initiative, have begun to change, but we're still only scratching the surface on what's possible. Programs like these, along with the Black-Led Philanthropic Endowment Fund, have done something profound. They've demonstrated the power of investing directly in Black communities. These initiatives were born from a recognition of systemic injustice, but they are also growing into engines of economic and social change. Since its inception, the BEP has helped over 5,000 Black-owned businesses launch, scale, and thrive. Let's think about that for a moment. 5,000 businesses. That's more than just a number. It's 5,000 visions realized, 5,000 entrepreneurs breaking through barriers, and 5,000 opportunities for the community to grow. These businesses aren't just staying afloat. They are flourishing, creating over 3,800 high-quality jobs, and generating a remarkable $220 million in revenue. This kind of economic impact reverberates through communities, uplifting Black owners, their employees, customers, and the neighborhoods that they serve. Behind these statistics are real stories of resilience, innovation, and possibility. For example, the entrepreneurs who secured funding to expand her beauty business, creating jobs in her community while redefining the standards of beauty of women of color. Or the tech entrepreneur, once overlooked by traditional financing, who now deploys to dozens of people and innovating in the tech sector, thanks to the critical financial support provided by the BEP. At FACE, we are privileged to witness and support these journeys. The BEP has distributed over $40 million in loans and has approved over $60 million. With this funding, businesses have been able to innovate, scale, and hire more employees, contributing to a more inclusive, dynamic Canadian economy. But all of these jobs, businesses, and the revenue that exists, we are still at a fragile framework in terms of time-limited funding. The current funding of the BEP is expected to expire on March 2025, and if the government does not take action now to make the support permanent, we risk losing the momentum we've built. We risk turning off the engine of growth of thousands of businesses that have just gotten started. We've shown now what's possible when Black entrepreneurs are given the tools they need to succeed. Now it's time for the government to take the next step and ensure that programs like the BEP and the SBCCI don't disappear, but become permanent fixtures in Canada's economic and social fabric. A permanent investment in the Black Entrepreneurship Program is not just about money. It's about equity, inclusion, and ensuring that all full potential of Black entrepreneurs is realized. The government can create lasting change by making the BEP and the SBCCI a cornerstone of Canada's economic strategy. I'd like to pass it over to my colleague, Louis-Edgar Jean-François from Groupe 3737.
Alors, bonjour à tous. Mon nom est Louis-Edgar Jean-François. Je suis le président-directeur général du groupe 3737, également cofondateur de la coalition FACE, une organisation dédiée à délivrer des prêts aux entrepreneurs noirs. Le groupe 3737, on a le privilège d'être une des 4 organisations intermédiaires pour pouvoir livrer le programme de l'Initiative d'appui aux communautés noires, en anglais SBCCI, Supporting Black Canadian Community Initiative. I have the privilege of being joined here by my colleagues and fellow intermediate organization, Anthony Gray, Board Chair of Tropicana Community Services, Matthew James Martel, CEO of the Black Business Initiative located in the Atlantic, also Sam Jourou, Executive Director of the Africa Center. Collectively, we have the privilege of being able to deliver the Supporting Black Community Initiative. The Supporting Black Community Initiative is today a fund of $252 million to be able to build capacity for non-for-profit organizations across Canada. We're talking about more than 1,600 non-for-profit organizations being currently funded by the program. We have an additional 1,000 organizations that are currently waiting for funding. This initiative has been transformational, not only for the Black community, but as well for Canada as a whole. In terms of statistics, we have, through that program, created more than 3,000 jobs. In terms of revenue generation, it's more than $220 million that were generated through those not-for-profit organizations. We talk about not-for-profit organization, we talk about volunteers. More than 20,000 volunteers were created through those not-for-profit organizations. These initiatives, as my colleague Tiffany mentioned, have been transformational. And also, in terms of impact, it has been impactful in Canada. And when we say impactful, again, not only to the Black community, but as well as Canada as a whole. It will be disastrous if some of these initiatives doesn't continue beyond March 31st, 2025, which is the date that was set for them, some of those programs to expire. Adding to that, there's another initiative that has been also transformational, and that kind of brought fuel to those first two initiatives that we mentioned. It's the Black Philanthropic Fund, led by an organization called Federation for Black Communities, FFBC. It's an endowment fund that have been able to deliver in the last year $10 million of funding to Black initiatives across Canada, whether it's on the non-for-profit side, social sector, or on the entrepreneurship side. Again, it's more than $800 million that was put together in terms of concrete resources to be able to support the Black community across Canada. Once again, these have been transformational. And again, it would be disastrous if those initiatives wouldn't continue beyond their set expiry date, which is March 31st, 2025. We had the privilege of having one of our entrepreneurs to be able to share actually the impact that this initiative has had, more precisely the Black Entrepreneurship Program, on her business actually that has been able to thrive. Her business, we were able to work with her in terms of concrete support through the Black Entrepreneurship Program, but as well concrete funding. We've been able to bring this entrepreneur and this business up to a certain point. Now she's at a phase where she needs to scale. She needs to push it to make sure that she comes from a level of 10 employees to 50, 100, and scale more. I'll have the privilege of having her on stage with us, and I'll give her the floor just to share some of the impact that these initiatives, more precisely the Black Entrepreneurship Program, has had on her project. Farnell Florent from the company WorkKind. Farnell, à toi l'honneur.
Merci, Edgar. Thank you very much for the honor. My name is Farnell Florent. I am the entrepreneur behind WorkKind. So we are an HR tech company that aim to help businesses take care of their employees. Our goal is to help businesses attract and retain the best talent, but also contribute to global health and improve the employee experience. And so as a third-party administrator of lifestyle and well-being benefit, we are now looking to grow and to have more customers. À un point névralgique, j'ai réussi à avoir du soutien grâce à Face. Face était présent au moment où nous en avions le plus de besoin. On avait besoin de fonds de roulement pour être en mesure d'accueillir un grand donneur d'ordre, donc un des plus gros clients qu'on dispose. On était en train de lancer notre plateforme au sein de l'entreprise, puis on avait besoin de capital pour avoir du fonds de roulement, et on a été capable d'avoir du financement de la part de Face. Alors que, comme on est une jeune entreprise en technologie, qu'on n'est pas encore profitable, on a des défis pour pouvoir trouver du financement. Face was there at the right time, at the right moment to help us and support us into welcoming, integrating that new customer that help us. Donc, le lancement a été un succès. On a une étude de cas, on a ensuite intégré d'autres clients par la suite et maintenant on est dans la phase d'accélération. Puis on réalise à quel point c'est important d'avoir du soutien, d'avoir des acteurs qui sont présents pour nous aider financièrement, mais aussi pour nous ouvrir les portes au niveau des partenariats, pour nous aider à bâtir des entreprises pérennes, profitables puis créer de la richesse. Et donc maintenant, nous sommes disponibles pour pouvoir répondre à vos questions.
Hey, this is just a reminder for everybody listening online. If you have a question, please use the raise hand function. Ceci est pour les gens qui nous joignent en ligne. Si vous avez une question, s'il vous plaît, utilisez la fonction main levée. Fortunately, I don't have any questions. If you guys want to add anything, you can.
Let's get it.
Good afternoon. My name is Sam Juru, and I'm the Executive Director of the Africa Center. The Africa Center is an organization that has presence in Western Canada. We provide direct services from Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg. And we also support through funding communities across all of Western Canada. I want to speak today about the impact that we have seen with SBCCI impact across Canada-wide. Western Canada traditionally is a region that has struggled with funding and supports, and what we've seen with the Black Entrepreneurial Program and what we've seen with the Supporting Black Canadian Communities Initiative is the catalyzation of one of the biggest sub-regions of Canada that has previously not been supported in terms of its social and economic support. And this impact beyond just supporting the major cities, we've also started to see rural enclaves in places like Fort McMurray, in places like Red Deer, begin to receive funding and supports. And even within those communities, we are also seeing different unique demographic groups, like women, like people living with disabilities and youth, receive unique funding that's beginning to support and activate. On the Black Entrepreneurial Fund, one of the impacts that we are seeing beyond the Black communities is support for Canada in general, the Canadian economy. In Alberta, one of the provincial government's main mandate is jobs, economic development, and economic participation. The Black Entrepreneurial Program has been a key catalyst in Alberta in helping the Alberta government to achieve these goals. We're also seeing on the international front, Black entrepreneurs starting to outsource resource from Nigeria, from Kenya or Uganda, and manufacture products. But not only that, begin to export some of these products to the US or back to sub-Saharan Africa. So the issue of international trade, foreign currency and remittances that are starting to be generated to the Canadian economy has been one of these amazing, unanticipated positive outcomes of these programs. So I echo my colleagues here that we are looking for the sustainable resources of the Black Entrepreneurial Program, the Supporting Black Canadian Communities, and our foundation and the FFBC, which is really the philanthropic fund that will help us in terms of legacy. I thank you.
Dr. Grant?
Good afternoon, everyone. One of the programs on the Black Entrepreneurship, one of the areas of the Black Entrepreneurship Program is the research done by the Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub. And over this period, we've been able to build networks of researchers across the country to deliver research that will support Black entrepreneurs. One of the things we know in working with various groups like Statistics Canada and others is that there isn't enough information about Black entrepreneurs across the country. In actual fact, there is no database that is comprehensive enough for us to understand what is going on. But our research that we have done, our large-scale research that we have done recently, has identified Black entrepreneurs across all territories, across provinces and territories, and have allowed us to get some insights into what makes them who they are and what they're doing. This program of research is also building research capacity in our communities, in our universities. The Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub has been a catalyst for research and entrepreneurship in general in many universities across the country. Some of them had not developed their entrepreneurship programs the way they should and have used the Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub as a catalyst for their programs in their universities. So we continue to build this capacity. There are very few Black researchers in our institutions across the country, and this program has been there to help build that capacity both in academia and in the community. And this program needs to continue to be supported on a permanent basis. Thank you.
Atlantic, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I'm Matthew Martel, the CEO of the Black Business Initiative, and we're focused primarily in Atlantic Canada through the Black Entrepreneurship Program. So what this program has been able to do for Atlantic Canada certainly is allow our businesses to be cutting edge in certain areas such as artificial intelligence, access to funding, much more competitive funding mixes for the businesses. And really what we've seen is the development of a very strong ecosystem through all of these programs. So the SBCCI, the FFBC through the Philanthropic Fund, as well as BEP, as I mentioned. So, you know, for us, this has certainly been something that has opened up a lot of doors for clients that we've been working with for, well over 20 years. And, it'd be an absolute shame. I think Louis Agar made a great comment around, disastrous. I think we're at a place right now where we see the impact, we see the metrics, and I think it'd be a shame if this doesn't continue. Thank you.
To adjust it a little bit. So my name is Anthony Gray. I represent Tropicana Community Services Organization in Toronto. I'm the board chair and president. And as we've been here as a coalition seeking support from the Government of Canada to continue to invest in Black Canadian communities across Canada, the work is vital because as we have been sharing on the Hill, these are not Black issues, these are Canadian issues. We just happen to be Black representing a community that's in need. The other thing that's important for us in this moment is that earlier this year in Geneva, the Government of Canada announced their support for the second decade for people of African descent, a UN initiative at the Permanent Forum. And in that announcement, it felt as if we were finally getting the recognition that we needed as a community, as a contributing part of the Canadian community. And as we think about the next 10 years, which renews after March 31st, 2025, it would be a shame if that announcement didn't follow with significant investment to continue the progress that we've made over the last 4 years. And also give us an opportunity to not only sustain the gains, but also invite others across the Canadian diaspora to get involved with what we're doing because, again, it's about making Canada more prosperous for all. And as they were saying this morning, as the tide rises, all boats rise. So I thank you for that opportunity to share our thoughts, and I look forward to any other questions that might come from the floor.
So we thank you again for the opportunity to share our concern, our desires, and our requests to the Canadian government. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.